Hey guys, today we have the data download for transforming strength cooler, as well as this cooler's armored squadron unit, and then this free-to-play cooler. So I have the translations up on my Twitter, so you can go ahead and check them out. I'm not gonna go through that. Just you can pause the video here if you want to take a look at the translations. Basically, the only thing to note is that there should be a transformation boost leader skill in here as well. So he boosts this new category, Conquest of Terror, as well as transformation boost by Key 3, HP 130, and then attack and defense 170. And then Conquest of Terror should be the same as this, which is Conquest of Fear. It's the same thing. I just did this at 5 in the morning, so a little bit tired. But we have that. We also have the translations for this Cooler's Armored Squadron unit, which is interesting. So pause the video if you want to look at this. And then we do have this one. I'm actually just going to do this on screen live. So this is all we knew because they like put this news thing up last night, like a preview for like the revamp of the story event. It is a revamp, by the way. It's not a new story event. It's the revamp of like the original Cooler movie event. So yeah, so this guy, and his passive is attack and defense plus 40%, and then Conquest of Terror, category allies key 2, and attack and defense plus 30%. Let's actually just go take a look at him right now. Leader skill is Conquest of Fear, category key 2, HP attack and defense plus 30%. Death Flash is a super attack, raises defense, and then he does supreme damage. Links are, oh boy, these links. This is Brutal Beatdown, Metamorphosis, Cold Judgment, Strongest Clan in Space, Thirst for Conquest, and Nightmare. So not a bad unit, but the thing is with him, you can't even like run him on this team because he's the same name as this guy's Cooler. So anyway, point of this video is to just talk about how absurd this unit is. And by absurd, I mean I'm 95% sure he's the best TUR in the game, including EZAs, including EZA Janemba, including TUR Kellen Khalifa, including Gogeta Blue, including all those guys. I think this guy's better than all of them. And I'm going to go ahead and explain why I think that. So basically, this guy starts out as a support unit pre-transformation, and his links are really, really good. He shares all the same links as the physical Cooler. The only difference is this guy doesn't have shocking speed. He has Brutal Beatdown instead, and not necessarily a bad thing, because he does give 2 key anyway to the entire rotation, no matter what. So he supports transformation boost units as well as this new Conquest of Fear category, or Conquest of Terror, however you want to call it. And I have the category pulled up in a different window. We'll look at it in a bit, but I mean, this guy, even pre-transformation, right, as a support unit, he's dealing close to 3 million attack stat, which, I mean, if you compare him to someone like Turles, who we all know how good Turles is, he's like always been considered one of the best Dokkan Fests, one of the best TURs, just from the fact that he's so useful. He does 3 key, he does 40% attack to everyone. I mean, this guy does, at the minimum, if you're against one enemy, key plus 2, and then 30% attack and defense to transformation boost type allies, which you're going to be running on your team if you're running this guy. So, I mean, that's just how it is. And then if it's 2 or more enemies, he does 50% to Conquest of Terror category allies. So him being able to do that much of boost his attack stat to that degree, as well as being able to support allies by 50% or 30% is like, I'm pretty sure this guy is the hardest hitting TUR in the game. He also lowers attack on super attack and defense, and I mean, his defense is not terrible either. He's going to have like 120k defense pre-transformation, and then post-transformation he gets 180% attack and defense. So I mean, there really isn't anything to say. He also does guaranteed crits against Pure Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans, and does an additional guaranteed, so it's like, okay. This guy's also crazy. So this guy lowers attack and defense on super attack. He gets 30% attack and defense per Conquest of Terror category ally on your team. So that's up to 210% attack and defense. Plus he's getting support from this Cooler, so he's going to get like, I mean, if you're going to, you would run this Cooler on rotation. You're not going to float him. He's too good to be floated. And I'll go over team builds for this guy in a bit, but essentially you're going to have this guy sitting at 260% attack and defense if you're facing 2 or more enemies. So I mean, plus they get 2 guaranteed additionals with a low chance of their super attacks. But I mean, it's this unit is also really good. Their stats are not the highest, but it's not bad. 14.2k is not terrible. Like, there are some TURs that they release, like Demon King Piccolo, who have like very, very low attack. So I mean, yeah, both of these units are pretty crazy. We'll get rid of this. So now we're going to take a look at the category here. We have the Conquest of Terror category. So it's an interesting category because I feel like it has a lot of room for growth. If you take a look, I mean, especially just starting off with that with Scouter Vegeta, I assume we're going to eventually be getting a Scouter Vegeta Kaioken Goku Dokkan Fest at some point. I mean, they're going to have to go back and do that. It's like one of the best fights in all of Dragon Ball. I think it's like my #2 fight in Dragon Ball history. Scouter Vegeta versus that Goku, like the whole ordeal that they go through. Raditz 2 deserves a better card. Nappa as well. They could do a Vegeta and Nappa sort of duo LR card. Ginyu deserves a better TUR. Maybe like, I don't know. You could leave like the henchman category or something. I don't know. Ginyu needs a better summonable card. All the Demon King Piccolo tribe. I think in Buchigiri they call it like the demon tribe. So they could definitely make better units of those. Demon King Piccolo himself deserves at least a Dokkan Fest exclusive, if not a Dokkan Fest LR with like a, I don't know, something to go along with that. All the Frieza units are here. So basically this category encompasses the entire Wicked Bloodline category, with the exception of Angel Golden Frieza, I believe, is excluded from this category. That's the only thing that they're missing. So, I mean, I think it's, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe also GT Frieza, but that's not a big deal. So, yeah, we got all these guys. We got Bojack is in here. LR Bojack you can run. Metal Cooler, like I said, Wicked Bloodline. Turles is in here, so you could run Turles as a floater on this team. Surprise, surprise, Turles fits on this team too. Slug, if they ever come up with a better Slug. This Piccolo deserves a Dokkan Fest. Ma Junior. Super Baby 2, I mean, he fits on this team nicely. Something else to note is that he is on both this category as well as Transformation Boost, which is very, very good because I'll go over why later. CLS 2 is very good, and then finally we have this LR Mecha Frieza and King Cold, and then I forgot to mention we have LR Full Power Frieza right here. So this category is very good. Could it have been better? Sure, but I think, like I said, it has a lot of room for growth, so expect this to constantly be getting updated with more villain characters, because I think pretty much all of these are just villains, yeah. So, I mean, very, very good, in my opinion. Then we're just going to go ahead and take a quick look at Transformation Boost, and this is going to tie into my team build that I have for this team. Just so you guys are aware, this is supposed to be the new cooler, but it's also going to serve as the old one as well, because I think you should run the old one on this team. So, I mean, what you want to do with this team, in my opinion, is you want to run units that are both in Transformation Boost as well as Conquest of Terror. And the reason for that is because, especially if you're doing Super Battle Road, because you're going to be facing multiple enemies at some point, and then you're also going to be facing single enemies at other points. And the way the unit works is, so if you're facing one enemy, he buffs Transformation Boost by 30% and then 2 ki. And then if you're fighting 2 or more enemies, he does Conquest of Terror, 2 ki, 50%. So if you have a team that consists of units that belong to both categories, you're going to be buffing your entire team when you're fighting both multiple enemies as well as when you're fighting a single enemy. So let's say you have a 2-enemy fight, you kill one of them, and then you're going to the next rotation and you're only fighting one. That's then going to switch to Cooler's passive over to buffing only Transformation Boost. So this bottom row here consists of characters that are in both Transformation Boost and Conquest of Terror. And then I put in these 3 up here because these are characters that are in either one or the other, but they're good enough to the point where you would just run them anyway, even if they're not getting supported some of the time. So this being the new cooler, I think you could run a rotation of him, this, and this Frieza. Obviously they share a ton of links. Like, take a look right here. What do they share? If I can hover over this. Metamorphosis, Big Bad Bosses, Strongest Clan in Space, Universe Most Malevolent, Thirst for Conquest, and Fierce Battle. So, I mean, they will. This is the same links that he'll share with the other cooler because Rural Blue 10 is not here. So, I mean, they'll show 6 links, which is really good. I love this Frieza too. He heals, he has decent links, he has Big Bad Bosses. So, I mean, everything's pretty good with this Frieza. So, that as a rotation could be very good. Same thing with this Frieza as well. They share the same links. I mean, wait, does he Brutal Beatdown? No. Okay. So, again, share 6 links with this guy. Very, very good rotation. But I think it's finally time for LR Full Power Frieza to shine. I think LR Full Power Frieza, because he shares Big Bad Bosses, Universe Most Malevolent, Strongest Clan in Space, and Fierce Battle. And this guy being a support unit most of the time, well, I mean, in Super Battle Road, he'll be supporting basically 100% of the time. This guy's finally going to be able to constantly get his 24 key super attack pretty much without any issues. I mean, he's getting... what is he getting? He's getting 2 key from support, and then it's kind of difficult to hover over this. He's getting 2 key from just links, so it's extra 4 key, plus if you get lower on health, he gets key from his passive. So, I mean, I think this would be a very, very powerful rotation. Plus, if you have one of these guys as a floater, and then you have Janemba just somewhere. I mean, this guy's giving 3 key, this guy's giving 2 key, so, I mean, key is not going to be an issue at all on this team. And then you could also run LR Baby, too. I mean, he's not going to share the most links with him. I mean, what does he share? What does he have? Metamorphosis, Big Bad Bosses, and then Thirst for Conquest. So, not terrible, but I think it's important to finally have this guy on a good category. I mean, he was on Transformation Boost, but I don't really consider Transformation Boost under Super Boo to be that great of a team. But now under this guy, I mean, it's going to be insane. I mean, and then even just this guy linked along with like this physical Final Form Cooler. So you have the new Strength Cooler along with the physical Final Form Cooler. They share 6 links, and when this guy gets his Easy A, it's over. He's already very good. I mean, that's a little bit while away. It's like probably a year or so away, I would say, or maybe a little bit less. We'll see. You could do him in Janemba. I mean, we all know how good Janemba is. You could even throw this guy in here. They share a lot of links. I mean, there's a lot of options you could do, but I would say that having these 2 guys as floaters is probably a shoe-in for this team. Then you could have this guy along with himself, so you would have strength, physical, and you have this guy. Personally, I would do this guy and this guy as the second rotation. And then you would have, I don't know, maybe this guy floating, or you could have Janemba floating as a sort of wall that you would have in the 3rd slot just floating around, because you know how annoying it is to get the 3rd slot just constantly bombarded by attacks. So Janemba being in the 3rd slot is not really that bad. I mean, that's insane. Having this guy relegated to being a 3rd slot floating unit, that's pretty insane. Same thing with this guy. You could have him floating as like a wall to have in the 3rd slot. I don't know. There's a million options you could do. I mean, let's just take a look at the Transformation Boost category here. This is only TURs, both Super and Extreme units. Trunks, Zamasu, transforming Goku, transforming Vegeta, Gogeta Blue, full power Broly. You have LR Cell, you have the new Int LR Cell, you have transforming Gohan, this Broly, like, this category is ridiculous. So, although a lot of these guys might not be the best fit for this team, because I do feel like this is the core you want to make your team based around, because most of these guys are on both of the categories, like I said. But if you're going up against something like the Goku event, then making a team with like just Transformation Boost category allies would not be bad at all, because you know for sure you're only going to be fighting against a single enemy the entire time. So in that sense, you can sort of mix and match your team during Super Battle Road to, you know, maximize Cooler's effectiveness in terms of supporting your team. But then when you're fighting the Goku event, you could just go 100% all in with the Transformation Boost team. You could literally throw in this guy, Broly, Baby, like make it a full LR team with this guy possibly floating or being on rotation, and you're going to be fine because of the key that he gives. And I mean, honestly, it sounds like this guy's probably the best leader in the game for both of his categories. Just overall, I mean, it's pretty insane, as well as potentially the hardest hitting TUR in the game, while lowering attack as a supporter, while having insane defense, while doing crits, while doing additionals. It's actually just stupid. I think he's the best TUR in the game. I think he's better than Janemba. I think he's better than Gogeta Blue. I think he's better than TUR Count Caulifla. And he's better than a lot of LRs. Like, I don't really know what their thought process is while making these units, but it seems to me that they want to start closing the gap between a lot of the newer TUR Dokkan Fest exclusive units and older units that are now getting their Easy A's. Like, we have this Janemba, who many people consider to be, or considered, quote-unquote, to be the best TUR in the game in terms of just, you know, offense, defense, basically all-around usefulness. But now with the release of this cooler, with Future Gohan coming out, who's also very, very good, I think the gap between like newer units as well as these older Easy A's are starting to shorten and become, I mean, even this cooler, I think he's overcoming Janemba. I think he's better than Janemba. I don't think it's like extremely like vast. I don't think he's like extremely vastly better than Janemba, by the way. I don't think this guy's like, oh my god, he's like so much better than Janemba. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they want to start closing that gap a little bit more. And then also the same with LRs too. Maybe they want Dokkan Fest exclusives now to start being on par with, if not better than, some LRs, like summonable LRs. Because you can't sit here and tell me that this cooler is worse than LR Trunks MI, is worse than this cell. Like, this cooler is better than this cell. Come on. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me otherwise. Like, some of the lower end LRs like that, I'm not going to sit here and say that this cooler is worse than them, because he's not. He's better than a lot of the summonable LRs that we have in the game, which is ridiculous, because that never used to be the case. Same thing with this Janemba. So, I don't know. That's pretty much going to do it for this one. Let me know what you guys think of the new cooler. I mean, he's actually just ridiculously insane. Obviously, I was super excited when he was announced in V-Jump, but I mean, even after seeing his details now, it's like, okay, now my interest is peaked. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed, and be waiting patiently for this guy to come to global, and I'll see you all in the next one.